Welcome to the Inphamus Hour Live. I'm your host, the infamous Amadeuz. Going down. We are officially switching off of Hennessy and drinking Chinese medicine wine. You gotta Google that. It's good for your health. And health is wealth, especially on the 50th year of hip-hop. And, of course, we are sponsored by 97 Piff. We have the actual real Piff, the Boudet from Dykeman. And we also have a fully organic butter infused with haze and hydro. We can turn any meal into an edible. And as we keep the hip-hop going on season 4 of the Inphamus Hour, had to bring my guy out. Brooklyn's own Brad Piff, the propane campaign is in the building. Agallah, what's up, brother?
What's good? What's good? Inf, what's good, man? I'm great, man. You know, I already know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Propane, we here. Thank you for inviting me, man. I appreciate the love. You already know Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Brownsville, you know, keeping it thorough. Never ran, never will. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Solid.
So you've been in the game 30 years, and when you look at this 50th year of hip-hop anniversary, as someone who was kind of there when everything was transitioning from this super up-tempo, almost New Jack swingish type of music to what we now consider the East Coast golden era, the Mobb Deeps of the world, the Big L, the Pun, the War Report. How does it make you feel to see how successful hip-hop has become, even though it's kind of not what we thought it was going to be, but just how it's spread throughout the whole world? How does that...
Well, you know, when you're dealing with music, I felt like a lot of people that didn't understand the music industry would get to this level. There's so many new genres underneath hip-hop, as subculture genres underneath hip-hop as an umbrella. But you got, you know, back then we had like a lot of artists that, you know, had their own record labels. Before there was something, we didn't know what independent label was. There was these DJs and producers that were putting out records, which I come from, and I understood that fraction of being an indie. Like, you know, my neighborhood, Brownsville, you know, was one mom and pop's record store, which is Soul Shack Records, which is ran by my godfather, Jose, and his friend, Russ. And basically, you know, I would see like a whole bunch of guys that just would be able to know where to go to see where a pressing plant was, press that up. Yeah. Now you got artists that you could do everything yourself now. You don't really need to go through the gatekeeper's door to really hold your slap down in this game right now. You don't have to do that. You can really set standards and put out, you know, your music, but you got to really understand how the music game works with registering your music and stuff like that so you don't lose money. You know what I mean? And it's all about money at the end of the day, whether we want to be dope, whack, not. You know, you feel like you want to put out music, understand the business of it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, someone told me a long time ago it was only going to be 10% talent and 90% business to get a successful artist out there and deal with building that, you know, as we see it. You know, you got to, of course, there's many other lanes and levels to building it, but we didn't know that till now because the technology is changing. Every time technology change, a new AI now that's out called chat. You know, you could ask it to write a video script for you or a proposal for you.
Y'all see some wild shit now that you could actually have like some shit, write an essay or write your YouTube description. It's like an AI. I guess you put like whatever you want in the computer and then it just writes this whole thing for you that kind of makes the algorithm go.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we in a time where, you know, humans are no longer doing everything. You got computers doing what humans could do. So before a human could copy my code, you know what I mean? I'm trying to make sure that I feel like we as people need to protect our intellectual property even more at this day and age, because like the more you put something out there on YouTube, you know, you can't get it back. You know, a video, or you can't re-edit that. You know what I mean?
Once you put it in the universe, it is what it is.
It is content, so you can't, you know what I mean, override the fact that you're putting out content and then you don't see the numbers you want to see because you didn't go through the right circuits. Dealing with, you know, this AI that's out right now and stuff like that. So I feel like technology is a big input that allowed the music industry to change. Not only that, but it's $1 billion business now because of the technology. You know, you got these companies like Spotify and Tidal and stuff like that. Right now, currently, I deal with Empire. So, it is what it is. It's like, streams don't make you a lot of money. We all know that. We utilize it to get the music out there, but we're not the breadwinners of a streaming of streams. We're not the breadwinners of it. They are, because they're creating the sources for these artists to allow it. Now that you got TuneCore, I just heard Papoose just been named head of TuneCore, stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know. I never really dealt with TuneCore. I don't know, what the gist of it is. I understand artists are putting their own music out, making a way for themselves independently through that, but there's still like this big matrix that we all got to go through, which is the DJ pools and making sure they play these records and making sure you stay on it. So I just feel like technology changed the system a little more differently than we usually seen it from back then, because it was prehistoric. We didn't have internet as well. You heard this all before. We didn't have the internet in those days, but now we got more than the internet. We have AI now.
Yeah. When you look at some of the elder statesmen of hip hop, you think they've kind of made a mistake not embracing technology?
I would say yes and no, because at the end of the day, we felt like we could, be more grassrooted with hip hop, as because it is a grassroots culture. I feel like that's one thing that people stick to is, their core values. A lot of the OGs gonna stick to their core values as far as like, what they believe how their music should be portrayed and how they should be, viewed in non-commercial, or whether you want to go commercial on that value. So I feel like a lot of people feel like they don't have to answer to the OGs now. They could just go through YouTube and say, man, I think this is dope for me. I'm trying to express myself as an artist. I don't have to go shopping to the labels, because what the labels are actually doing is looking at the numbers on YouTube and trying to judge the artist by the numbers.
But more of the look than the result.
Right.
But more to look at the result. So let's go back. Early Brooklyn, you're from Brooklyn, and you've been writing since a young age. So you started off as a DJ or producer?
I started off as a DJ, making mixtapes. That was the first thing that I, embarked on when I was a kid. I didn't have my own turntables, but we had one in the crib, and, I was buying records at a very early young age. I was buying all the, OGs like, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Stetsasonic, Lakim, Shabazz, 45 King, list goes on. I was just, but I was listening to a lot of NWA, De La Soul, rest in peace to True Goy, you know what I mean? I was, they all was inspiring me at a young age, because I didn't know how to put out albums or how to do vinyl. Yeah, I was just doing mixtapes. You know what I mean? And I was DJing. Then I wound up DJing for a group in my neighborhood called Top Dollar and Smoke. And I was their DJ for a while. We won talent shows. And then after that, Top Dollar got in some trouble. I wound up taking the pen more serious because I was already rhyming at the time since a shorty. So I took the pen more serious and then elevated from there. Yeah. To the beat making and,
all right,
putting out demos and stuff.
So at some point you got signed to Elektra?
At some point I got signed to Tommy Boy first.
Tommy Boy?
Yeah.
So who's on Tommy Boy at this time?
Latifah. And Naughty by Nature was on the label.
Okay, so these are like the main, because I've heard stories from multiple people where labels in the 90s would almost sabotage people's third albums so they wouldn't be able to get the budget again. So they give you a budget, it's a 3-album budget, and then your third album, they'll make it flop. So this way you couldn't request the same amount of money.
Well, I had an undeniable buzz coming into the game because, I was basically hitting up a lot of underground places with Lyricist Lounge was one of them. Mm-hmm. And Danny and Anthony basically allowed me to get up there and rock my songs, which led to a lot of people, that was just one place that I would go, and then I would just bum rush a lot of other spots like Wetlands. which was downtown Manhattan, and at the time there was a lot of hip hop heads being there, and I would just bum rush the stage, grab the mic, rip it. It would be a lot of A&Rs in the crowd, and back then, you know, I got noticed, you know, by a lot of artists. One of them, you know, Busta Rhymes noticed me. You know, he basically, you know, one of the guys that, you know, took heed to me, and EPMD as well. Kind of like, you know, my name was ringing bells, like, who was this kid from Brooklyn, but he's out there in Washington Square Park, and then I would, you know, meet up with Mos Def, and me and Mos Def was, you know, hanging out, like, a lot, you know, like, damn near every day with me, him, and Talib, and his brother, DCQ. We was all, like, you know, at the Lyricist Lounge a lot, like, you know, and I would see them at other spots as well. Spots like John, you know, like I was club hopping so much in New York, it was crazy. You know what I mean? I was ripping everywhere, bro. And has like Jamalski from, you know, he was running with KRS at the time. He took wind of me, and then that's when the label started getting wind of me. I started wilding out. One day on Halloween night, we had a Halloween party, and Chris Cross there. They're like, yo. You know, New York, you know how New York is, you know, we only can take but so much of your bullshit. You
there's a
understand?
level of aggression here in New York that people kind of don't understand.
Yeah, we only can take so much of your bullshit. If we don't like it, you know, and especially if you ain't hitting us with it at the right time, we gonna act up. So, you know, that's one thing. I was young. I grabbed the mic from both them brothers. You know, no disrespect, but it's a competition to me. And I grabbed the mic from them, you know, and I splashed, and you know, the A&Rs from Geffen that night, you know, got wind of me, and she offered me $1 million right on the spot. And that's when, you know, all the labels, you know, they started getting wind of me, and then I got a call from Tom Silverman at Tommy Boy and Monica Lynch. They gave me a deal for a good $250,000, you know, and they didn't release my album because of politics.
So what made you take the $250 over the $1 million?
Well, because
out of curiosity.
Because at the end of the day, that, you know, that deal with Geffen, at the time, it was, you know, she mentioned it. We tried to follow through up with it, but I went through the wrong sources to follow up with her. The business wasn't that tight with her and Jamal for me to follow up with it, obviously. So I didn't follow up with it. We tried. She said, you know. She told me right on the spot. Like, you know, it was all talk, though. You know, in this business, you can't just tell somebody that. I don't want to, you know, blow up the person. I still respect the person. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, like I said, it's a political game. And I went with Tommy Boy because I felt like they was, you know, the right hip-hop label at the time. I felt like they had my best interest. But, you know, it's crazy, you know, like, you see signs when you're young, you know, and this is when I was young. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really understand the business I do now, but if I knew what I knew now, I would have never signed that deal with Tommy Boy. I said, I mean, not because they have a history, of doing artists bad. It's because of the fact that I look at it as a lesson that I wish I can go back and fix. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So had you not taken that Tommy Boy deal, you think the Agallah career would have went different? I mean, because people have heard you on Sound
Adolf the Assassin.
Yeah, but I mean, just the whole spectrum of where your career is now, you think that may have altered?
Well, may I get another drink, by the way?
Yeah.
Kind of parched.
Yo, Mike, can you give me the Baji? I think it's in there. We're watching the Inphamus Hour right now. I'm your host, Inphamus Amadeuz. Agallah is here. Brad Piff himself. Make sure you check out the 97 Piff. All social media platforms.
I would like to try that, man. That looks great.
Oh, this is great.
That looks phenomenally great. With the packaging, I mean, I don't know who your packaging is, but shout to whoever doing your packaging.
Yeah, I got some guy in Arizona that he's kind of. And let me tell you, I had to bring the old school Dykeman guys out because at one time there was just no Piff.
Shout out to my bro Dow.
There was no Piff. There was no Piff, and then on top of the Piff, we got the Dro back outside. We got the Tabla. From Dykeman, we got the Tabla. Yeah, Alaskan Wood. I remember the first time I seen an ounce of Tabla, it was in a fucking...
the block.
Yeah, the block shit. You got to melt it down. And I don't know if you've been to the Bronx. There was some fire ass weed in the Bronx, Elliot.
Of course, classic. Well,
that shit was crazy.
Elliot definitely is a classic weed spot to me because I believe like it's like off the Grand Concourse somewhere.
Yeah, right off the Grand, right for Jerome. Grand
Jerome,
Concourse,
right around that area, right? Jerome area. My thing is that these were spots that, held New York down in the cannabis time when, there was, no legality.
Yeah.
Of cannabis. You just gave me an idea, which is fucking crazy. I'll build with you on.
Okay, yeah.
I don't even want to,
right.
but you just gave me an idea.
Yes.
You just gave me an idea, but overall,
I don't think people understood. Like, we would literally go and risk getting locked up for bud in New York. Like, I got locked up 4 times at Elliot in 2 months. And I knew I was going to get locked up, and I still went. They had to fight.
I never got locked up because I smoked it all before the cops got to me. I blew everything, bro. Look, everything I get, I try to blow it as soon as I get it. I don't like saving weed because at the end of the day, why you saving weed for? It's supposed to get smoked, bro. You're supposed to be blowing constantly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I got to,
Was there any classic Brooklyn spots? I remember the only place I could get chocolate.
Oh, Tyson.
Oh, yeah, Tyson. Oh, the fucking Yo, Mike, remember this shit? The Tyson?
Yeah, Tyson.
Oh, man,
you had
Tyson.
Pink Panther.
The Tyson spot was
Yeah,
crazy.
Pink Panther. Yeah, Pink Panther,
I definitely remember
Pink
Tyson.
Cool LP. If you a real Brooklyn dude, you remember the name of Pink Panther, but they go by the name of LP. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, I'm just saying, like, these spots,
classic spots.
These spots is legendary. Then you had a spot, Palmetto in Brooklyn. You had Palmetto.
Palmetto Street?
Yeah. Palmetto had weed.
What was that, Knickerbocker? That's around there?
And then you had, I think it was like Jefferson or another block, Evergreen, like somewhere like that. Like it was like one of them other spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The what? No, Tyson was crazy. I remember I got locked up.
Tyson was on Nostrand and Gates. That shit used to,
I got locked up in Nostrand.
That spot was like, the way they had that spot up was notoriously ill. Like, you had to go down the stairs, knock on an ill-ass metal door with like an ill-ass nigga looking at you. Like, you don't even know who looking at you on the other end. They can have the ratchet or whatever. You just like, you gotta slip. I ain't gonna lie, like, you got to slip the money through the like they had like the door, like they had a little compartment in the door handle where you put the money in and it come right out.
Classic
like,
shit.
Yeah, it was really, really, really gully. You know what I mean? But like those Brooklyn weed spots, man, I grew up copping from those. Like I've been smoking weed for a very long time. I'm a weed advocate, definitely a marijuana cannabis advocate for the last.
Like, did you ever think we would see a fucking cookie store? I mean, they don't got nothing there right now, but they will. But to see that shit on 35th Street,
I believe that.
across from Macy's.
I believe that the West Coast has the best weed on the planet, right? Like, since the Chronic came out, since Dr. Dre Chronic came out, that's when the weed game changed. Like, let me just honestly say that album changed the way hip-hop looks at marijuana.
Chronic.
That album, The Chronic, was the beginning of a new era. Because I'm going to keep it 1,000 with all y'all. Like, I was smoking dank. I don't know if y'all know what dank is. Like, I was smoking dank. You know what I mean? That's West Coast. I was smoking dank in the East Coast. I ain't never seen no East Coast dude smoke dank. And I was smoking dank through my boys, the Hieroglyphics. Shout to
shout my man Casual.
Shout to Opio. Shout to Casual.
Yeah.
Shout to A+. Like, they was signing Jive when I was signing Tommy Boy. They bought me a big bag of dank from Oakland. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, and then that's when we got cool. I was just, they was like my first West Coast hip-hop brothers is Hyro. So, shout to them, you know what I mean, for bringing me that dank, because I definitely appreciated it. It was like, we was smoking like, don't get me wrong, New York had weed culture here and great weed, courtesy of the Dreads, courtesy of the Dominicans, courtesy, we all put in some kind of every culture put in some kind of
contribution.
Yeah, contribution to what they thought was, I feel like, was the best marijuana. And then, we had favorites like where would you get the best sour at, where you get the best piff at. You know what I mean? That was like always a question. Who had that piff? That you know what I mean? Like, and that word, I see, is carried a long way. Me, Shice Bub, my man, Jitterbug, Uncasa, Purple City. I think we put a stamp on what that word was. We put a stamp, and we don't get enough credit for it, but it's really what we.
Nah, because
really
before,
what we built from the ground up. Even that piff.com, they ran with it and made a website out of it. So I just feel like we added on. We influenced this culture. I influenced this culture in many ways. Outside the beat game and rap game. Even with the weed game too.
Yeah. When I was younger, running around on Dykeman, we would refer to Hayes as the Boudet.
That's right.
So it wasn't really referred as Piff.
Boudet.
Yeah, Boudet. And then somewhere along the line, you came, and now it's all Piff and that Piff this.
Well, Boudet is a Dominican term, and tabla. We know what tabla is.
Motherfuckers watching this right now has no fucking clue what the tabla is. That's a whole different.
Yeah, tabla is like the Dominican term for block weed, like block weed with chocolate.
That shit was
I call it chocolate weed compressed because that's what it is. Like, it's tabla. You ain't gonna find that comes from. It's man made, but at the end of the day, you appreciate it because it's all natural. How you break it down, and it goes perfectly with any green bud you got. Like, if you want to mix some chocolate up with some, if you want to make a mix, like me, my blunts got to have like 2 or 3, 4, 5 different types of. I just can't smoke one type of weed in one blunt. I gotta mix it up with like 4 or 5. You know what I mean? That's just me. I like mixing them. But I know what I'm doing. It's like all high science.
Yeah, I mean, because we used to use the tabla to stretch our weed, so we get the draw. Well, nah, because it's actual weed, but we get the draw on Vermilia. You know what I'm saying? Go get the tabla.
Well,
together.
I like resin. When I smoke, I like resin. You feel me? The resin is what make you get high of resin.
Yeah, I think you smoke that shit.
Like the resin really, like if you put a little resin, like I take my L's. I save my roaches. I ain't gonna lie. Break them down, put them right in the next one, and mix. Yeah.
You save roaches too, Mike.
But you know what? I take all the ashes off my joint, and really, I don't have no ashes or dark spots in my joint. It just be all resined out. Mm-hmm. I make sure I get the resin from that, put it in the next blunt. I be high as hell.
Yo, talk to me about this Cookie Monster record, right? Because I remember hearing that shit on mixtapes, and this was early Alchemist. Did Alchemist even have a hit at this time when that shit came out? Because the Jadakiss record didn't come out yet, so he was kind of still underground. Right?
Yeah, Jada was definitely in the locks, but my thing, when I was shout to the locks, shout to the whole D Block, we had the record out with Jonathan Schechter from the Source magazine. So he called me on the phone, say, yo, I got Royce the 5'9", I got Eminem over here, and I got Thurston Howe doing singles on my label. I'm like, how they doing singles? And he's just like, yeah, I'm putting them out.
Yeah, this for sound bombing.
Yeah, but Jonathan Schechter had his own label called Game Records. Mm-hmm. So, this around the same time me and Sean Price started doing a lot of music, so I had him with me under my production at the time, and I was like, well, all right, we'll go over there and do the record, Cookie Monster, the one you asked. So that came out in like the 2000 era, and then basically we kind of just like was doing singles from that point on. Like after the major labels, I wanted to do singles. I ain't really feel like I was in need of a deal. I was doing pretty well as far as like production, getting on people's albums, making money doing that. I didn't feel like I needed to put out an album and be like some big artist competing with a machine.
Yeah.
At the time, so I was just like, I'll produce. I was producing Busta Rhymes, EPMD, Group Home, Guru, Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap. You know what I'm saying? I was working with some greats. Mm-hmm. So I was doing well, and didn't really feel like I need to put out my own solo album until I got with Purple City.
Yeah. As an artist, you were telling me something interesting off air before we got on, that you play your own drums. So on these new records, this is literally you. This is not a drum loop. This is not...
More or less, this is me programming and playing at all levels. Like, I program and play everything. Like, I don't loop drums. I don't feel like when I do certain drums, like... if I can't tune the drum set right then and there, I got a guy that's in my, my team. I have live, players, as I was telling you before. Shout to the Funky Nomads out of Brooklyn, Terrell, Dirty Bastards, brother Ramsey, old Dirty Bastard brother Ramsey. He plays drums, so I play drums as well. I jam out with real live musicians. That's a different thing. Like, I can jam out with real live musicians. If put me on a drum set with some real live musicians, you're gonna get something. So I've been doing that for years now. Since high school. I had the gift. You know what I mean? Like, in music class, I didn't necessarily have to read notes, but I know rhythm and I know how to keep a pace. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. Like, some people are better than certain things more than others, and I see I feel like a lot of music right now, dudes are, using the same style drums, or they're not using drums. They're not using drums at all. Okay. Because they scared going off beat with the rhythm.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I feel like to rap over drums, you gotta be on beat. And a lot of these dudes that doing the no drum thing don't have like any metronome behind them to stay on beat, so they could just, they could just do that. But I feel like you gotta, it's hard science, depending on what you're saying and what you're doing and the message you're delivering and how you putting it out there. It all depends on, I don't knock nobody's heart, but, I ain't gonna say this about a lot of artists, but I love a lot of music, underground stuff. But if you do that at a big stage, I don't know if you're gonna get the same effect you probably think you're gonna feel.
Yeah. Like, if you went in front of like Summer Jam or something, it probably wouldn't hit the same. Yeah, it's not, because there's nothing to keep the crowd moving. Because the crowd moves on bass and rhythm and that type of thing.
There you
go. And speaking of rhythm, right? And I had this conversation with Lord Sear. And it'd be good to have this conversation with you. When you were featured in the Grand Theft Audio 3, a game radio, right? And you look at where that franchise has gone. Because when I look at GTA, the open world concept is definitely what popped it off. But one of the main shit that you spend a lot of times going through missions, so you jumping in the car, you're hearing this hip-hop station, you got game radio, right? You got Stretch, you got Sear. You got a song in rotation on that.
Yes, me and Sean Price. God bless it. Yeah. God bless him.
Yeah,
God bless
you and Sean Price. And when you look at it, like looking back at your career, like how much do you think that affected not only the entire culture of hip hop, but just gaming and the virtual world?
It's huge. It's completely, for every artist that was on those radio stations on that video game, it generated a big picture of what music can be involved with technology. You know what I'm saying? It generated a whole different glimpse of what the possibilities are. Video games and music go together. Every video game you have in your household right now got a rap song on it.
No, it's all about
every video game. Every new NBA 2K game, they update the songs now. They got the technology the way you could have the physical game, but they could update the playlist of your songs now by
literally in real time. Yeah.
Because now what they do is they synchronize you to a big Wi-Fi thing, big cloud, a big cloud that they update that updates the game. So it doesn't matter if you have the game physically. Once you connect to your Wi-Fi, that game automatically updates. Like right now, like NBA 2K, I'm a Lakers fan. All right, they just made trades. I did not turn on my NBA 2K yet since they made the trade. I gotta get home and turn on my NBA 2K so the trades can update. That's probably gonna take a while because a lot of trades got made in the NBA. So you understand what I'm saying? Like that's where we at. Like being able to, tap in with the AI, bro. Tap in with that cloud. Like,
and
I want to be able to
humble because he did some shit NBA Live as well.
Yes, yeah, I scored the NBA Live 08 on
the racing
video
joint.
game.
What was the
Midnight Club run?
Midnight Club, and I think there was something else.
And UFC Undisputed. Yeah, UFC Undisputed with Brock Lesnar on the cover. It's just a dream, bro, to do all that. Like,
You're being very humble about this shit. Because
Yeah,
if I
it's
was
a
him,
dream.
like, yo, fuck that.
It's a dream. It's a dream. No, it's something that, look, I be honest with you guys, on everything, I did not plan for those things to happen.
Okay, so it kind of just happened because you were
I
kind
pray,
of behind
I
the
pray,
scenes a little
I
bit
pray,
too.
I pray for these things to happen, bro. I come from poverty. I come from real bad environment, growing up, but that's not, what I'm trying to promote here. But at the end of the day, like, I didn't plan for those things. Those things, I think God, Allah, sent to me and said, yo, here, I see you working. I see you being a good person. Why do the good things come to people? Because they pray for them and they try to be good to others. And I think, I am talented. I am talented, man. Don't get me wrong. I put a lot of hard work into what I do in my craft. I mean, every day I live and breathe hip hop. I kid you not. I done rock out with the best. I did it. I could honestly say I did it. You know what I mean? And been with the greats and the journey. I'm still here, and just knowing that, but. There's a lot more to do while I'm still here. I feel like, before the history gets rewritten by the AI or.
Yeah, or whatever that looks like. In the
It's weird. Like, you can access AI to basically write a script, write a proposal, like come up with a business proposal. It's just serious now. Like, it could make you a beat. It could make you a beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make me a hip hop beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My kids record on the phone now. They got auto-tune on the phone. They record on the phone. There's no mixing mastering involved.
But you got 2 boys, 2 girls, or what?
I got 2 girls. So they record.
Congratulations.
So they record. They're recording this thing called BandLab.
I use that. I use that. That's an online studio.
Yeah, they use BandLab on the phone. So you don't even need a mic. You just use your headset, record on the BandLab.
How the song sound to you? How the quality to you?
I mean, it's not mix and mastered quality, but it'll work for the algorithm.
Well, you can lay ideas with it and then take it to another studio and then process those ideas. Because I've used BandLab before, and it's not really it's online. It's like you can make beats with it. You could sequence with it. You could sample with it as well. You could put your own samples and chop them up in there, and then put drums and all that, and then lay vocals. But you gotta have the right equipment.
Yeah.
I just feel like everything gotta be done right.
Yeah, correct.
But that's me right now. I feel like the kids right now do not care. These kids don't know nothing about that mixing and mastering if they not going to that school for mixing and mastering.
Yeah, because they just throw it right in Lander.
Unless they got templates. They use cheat codes.
Yeah, cheat
like
codes, yeah.
Like the templates, you can download a template. I can get all the effects I need on my vocals. It's there's shortcuts to certain things, but to really understand mixing and mastering is a whole different thing, and I did that on this new project, on this new album. I was able to do that myself, and
Nice.
I'm very proud because it's nothing feeling like to say like you did it yourself.
Yeah.
Ain't no feeling like you can say like I produced my album, I mixed it, mastered it,
Did the whole shit. It's kind of
Yeah.
like yourself. So before we get out of this, talk about this new project. It's dropping Friday. What's the name of the project? Any features on the project? What can the fans look forward to?
Endangered Species Protocol, the new album. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you look at the cover of my album, it's a lot of goat heads, you know, skulls. You know, people talk about the artwork a lot, and what I'm saying is, my whole message is that, you know, out here, you know, people, you know, look at you for being great. They want you to entertain, only for you to die. You know what I mean? Only for you to die by your own brother's hands out here in this entertainment industry, which don't really garner you no real warrant on your life, especially the young brothers. We seen a lot of people, you know, going, you know, even, you know, Trugoy.
Yeah.
You know,
rest in
brothers,
peace.
54 years
Rest in
old.
peace. Shout, rest in peace, my man, Granddaddy IU.
Right, IU,
100%.
IU, another Long Island legend, one of my favorite. Yeah, Inf, you ain't lying. Like
IU, I got the pleasure of shooting his last video. We did his last record. So
beautiful. That was family.
Yeah, and watching that was like, you know, fuck. We didn't get to do what. And one of the things that I regret about what IU is like he was just calling me all the time for beats. Yo, Inf, I need beats. I just wasn't in beat mode like at all. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I could have got so much more accomplished. You know, if I would have just been on top of it a little more. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, he acknowledged you as a great. So I'm sure, like, you know what I mean? You can rest assured that even though you didn't work with him, he still acknowledged your greatness. Yeah. And I think that's probably more important than anything.
Yeah.
A person of his stature. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's no longer here with us. Like Trugoy, I don't really know him. You know, I listen to De La, though. I listen. Yeah. Don't keep it real. De La is one of the best ever groups in hip hop ever created.
Ever.
Without question. Ever. Like, if you know, from my era. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like, 54 is too young to go. I'm about to be up there myself, but right now I just feel like I still have a lot left to do. Mm-hmm. This new album, let me get back to that as well. Like, my new album, I got Body Bag Ben.
Shout out to Body Bag Ben.
Yeah.
He's out here working. And he rap. And he kind of dope, too, on the bars.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
my
dope.
West Coast brother from Oxnard, California. He's definitely in the game. Mm-hmm. Check for him if you love that real street slap. You know what I mean? Like, we got it.
Body Bag Ben,
Pop Off. Mm-hmm. My other brother Pop Off is on there. I got Iron Sheik from the Bronx.
Oh, shout out Iron Sheik.
Yeah, Iron Sheik from the BX, you know what I mean? Yeah, Sheik. Yeah. The boy is bananas on the floor. Like, me and him got a joint called Wolf. I'm on my album. It's incredible. And shout to him. I got the legend YZ on the album. I got Dinko D from Leaders of the New School on my new album. Y'all got to check the new song we got out called Kyrie. We got a video out shot by Buddha the Bigger Picture. It's coming out on Empire the 17th. And I will be at a Lyricist Lounge this week, the 16th with Ghostface at the Photographia Museum.
Dope.
In New York.
Mm-hmm. All right, still dope. And they want to follow you on social media. Where they follow you at?
Agallah, The Dawn, and Agallah Music on all social media. Agallah Music on Instagram, Agallah The Dawn. And visit the website, www.agallahmusic.com. Check out the Bandcamp, agallah.bandcamp.com. Go get the new album. Promise you, we do not fail to disappoint. Propane Campaign. Still in the game. Solid.
That's right. If you're watching on the video side, we got more guests coming. But if you're listening specifically on Spotify, let's get into an Agallah record. Anyone in the catalog, what record should we want to play? Because this will drop Thursday, so the album won't be out yet. Anything that you want to hear in the catalog.
Let's play the new single, the new video featuring Dinko D and Big Ox called Kyrie. Right. I know what it is. Brooklyn all day, baby. Stand up.
All right, Big Brooklyn. You know what it is, baby. We're back live on the Inphamus Hour. Of course, I'm the infamous Amadeuz. Shout out to Agallah. Make sure you get that new project. It's going down. You know where to find me at SiriusXM Shade 45 every single Thursday, noon ESC for the new hip-hop picks, 3 p.m. ESC for the Throwback Classic. If you watch it right now on Boom Bap Nation, I have the first ever Punchline Academy live cipher with a band. Okay, if you ever been shy, you ever went to my showcase? Yeah, you've been there. The showcase, we was getting fucking. Listen, all right, listen. Quickly before I get off topic, Shy Boogie is my brother, J.Irja. This is my brother. This guy.
Yeah, he told me. I was like, that's dope.
Besides the fact of he was at my wedding and all this other shit, I had an extensive run running these strip clubs we're going to talk about.
That's my alley.
I had at least a 3-4 year run. And Sha Boogie is my real friend because he would put up all my shit. And I'm talking about like, I'm DJing in clubs, I'm getting free bottles, I'm shit-faced, he wait for me, make sure I get back to the crib. All types of wild shit going down. That's Sha Boogie's my brother. But J.Irja is here, fresh over Shade 45 today. How you feel?
Period. It was super dope. I'm feeling good. All the doors that are opening for me, I feel like there's a reason why it took me so long. Yeah. Like, when you're on the come up, I don't know exactly how your journey was. I've, listened to your stuff. But for me, it was a really long, arduous motherfuck. You know what I mean? And I was just thinking the whole way, like, damn, why does this shit keep happening to me? And blah, blah, blah. But now that these doors are opening for me and these records are coming out with these major people, I think, like, that stuff happened for a reason. To get me ready to do shit. If that makes sense. Yeah. Like, I had to be fully ready and fully prepared because I feel like it's not that I wasn't ready before, but I wasn't at the level mentally that I am now. Yeah,
and being mentally prepared for this journey, it is a rigorous journey. It is, my journey is still going.
Yeah, of course.
I've done literally anything you could think of in hip-hop. I owned a magazine. I had models. We've casted almost every top video at one point. Everything from Chris Brown Loyal down to the first Locks video that came back out. I had a very promising and successful career as a video director. And now I find myself in this radio space, right? So I'm in this whole radio space. And when I got the radio, I wasn't a DJ. Right? And I spoke about this many times here in Inphamus. I wasn't a DJ. And that was an adjustment because I'm in the room with DJ Premier, Sway, Tony Touch, Woo Kid, top DJs, and I'm learning how to DJ as I go along. So I kind of understand that. But one of the things that I admire about you the most is that you're working on your bachelor degree, right? And this, like, if you're watching this right now, Boom Bap Nation, do not let this fly over your head. I, at one time, was considering going back to school because I kind of feel like when we in hip-hop and we navigate in these corporate circles, you hit a plateau, and it's okay. So what is the missing link? It's not talent. It's not team. Sometimes it's just as simple as education.
There's a big thing, like I'm going for leadership and organizational development, which is actually a liberal arts degree, which some people are like, don't do liberal arts, because I'm very skilled at like math, and like I tested out of math. I took calculus in fucking literally 8th grade. Like I'm super educated, but I took liberal arts because it teaches you, it's literally the art, it's studying why people do what they do and then how people do what they do and how to communicate with people in the business world. And that's like literally what it's all about. Learning the right way to send memos and letters and the correct tone to talk to people in through letters and how to ask people for things, like it's important. And I have noticed that a lot. Like people fuck up because their business is not right. Their communication is not right. They don't know the proper way, the proper etiquette of doing stuff. So I'm really blessed that I'm able to continue my degree and be able to like do all this other stuff at the same time, right? Because it's a lot. I'm going to school full time and I'm doing music full time and I'm hustling and I got my LLC, which I'm doing all like my consulting business, and I'm working with 2 multi-million-dollar corporations right now on like graphics and this and that. So yeah, but the school that's important because when my dad died, before he died, he'd always tell me, he's like, man, you got to slow the fuck down, bro. Like, you need to fill in your backspace. He's like, stop making music 100% of everything. And I'm like, no, that's a sellout, blah, blah, blah. But now I understood what he was saying. Fill in your backspace, like make sure you have a 401k, make sure you got your Roth IRAs, make sure you got your investments, buy gold, do this, you know what I'm saying? And most of all, invest in yourself. Education is an investment in yourself. Yeah. So, RIP to my adopted dad that died. But that's one thing I never understood while he was alive. And I like, sometimes I wish he could be here to just see it, because I know he'd be like super proud of me. Like, damn, that bitch finally listened to me. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's what I want to say to everybody else. Like, it's not too late to go back to school. Like, I started college at 21 and then I fucked up and did a bunch of shit and like got homeless and all types of crazy shit. And then I went back at 33 is when I started going back to school and graduated my AA summa cum laude, and then I'm going to graduate my bachelor's summa cum laude 3.98. Like, you can do it.
It's possible.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. So for the people who are watching right now who may not be familiar with you, kind of talk about your story from Canada.
Yep, I was born and raised in Canada.
And then, so just kind of like paint the picture for the people who maybe look like, why are you on here right now? Like, just talk about the story.
Okay, so I'll give as brief as possible and like do the woo woo if I get to going, because there's so much shit, man. Like, you'd be like, holy fuck, this is a goddamn E True Hollywood story. It's crazy. But so like the briefest synopsis I guess I could give is like, I was born super duper poor in Canada, and like I just hustled everything I could to try and put food on the table, you know. So it's always been in me, not only the hustler, but I started very young doing music.
What part of Canada?
Way up north Ontario. Okay. So Timmins, Ontario.
So how far up is that?
Oh my God, hours. Like you're in the middle. Like there's one-way bridges. Like you gonna die.
Okay.
Like you might die. Like dead ass. Like it's for real. Like you with the bears and shit. But then we migrated down south. Obviously in search of employment. We were really poor. Moved all around Ontario, all the regular spots, you know, like Toronto, Niagara Falls, Sault Ste. Marie, like all those places. And ever since I was a baby, I always did music. Like the one thing I had was a flute. I inherited it from my aunt, and it was a really nice flute, like an open hole flute, if you know anything about that. And it was super nice. And that's the only thing I really had. And people are like, no, you're too young, you're too little, you can't play the flute. I taught myself how to read and write sheet music. I taught myself how to play the fucking flute. And that's not a joke. It's hard because there's a certain embouchure. But funny enough, that's what prepared me to be able to rap fast. Because like with the flute, you're working your embouchure constantly, like, you know. So moved on from there, came into America. It was awkward. I was poor. Just had to fight for everything I had. But I got a bunch of awards for solo and ensemble. I was always talented in music. And when I hit the streets, when I got kicked out at 16, well, the first time was earlier than that. But I was finally like the last time, like, bitch, here's some garbage bags. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. This is the last straw.
Yeah, like, you know, like we, when I finally left, there wasn't really a lot of options, you know, so I tried to get a job, all that stuff, but ended up illegally dancing at a strip club with fake ID, started selling drugs. I did a lot of shit in the streets just in pursuit of being able to get enough money, A, to survive, and B, to funnel into my music career. I met my first pimp when I was 15 years old. You know, and over the next 10 years, that money funneled through into all of those things, you know, if you could follow the line with that. Yeah. So it was up, down, it was a roller coaster. And finally, I mean, I was dealing with like brain damage, PTSD, fucking alcoholism. It was a lot, bro, like a lot. And finally, I was like, man, something's got to give. Like, I got to, you know what I'm saying? I got to get out of this shit. Like, so I moved to Dallas with my manager, who's my manager now. And like, we came from the bottom. I mean, nothing. I had nothing. It was bad. And I finally, like, I got myself sober. I paid off all my back taxes, which was like $250,000 because, you know, I wasn't allowed to pay taxes for 10 years. Yeah. Fill in the blanks with that. Paid back all my taxes, all of my like disorderlies, all my fines, all that shit. Paid that shit off. Got my teeth fixed, you know, and just really started being able to invest in myself, like my body, my life, my inside, my outside, you know. So, and that's kind of like the synopsis roller coaster of kind of how I got here, you know, just being able to funnel everything through the music. So I went from homeless, nothing, you know, to this in like 5 years, like literally.
So when you look at all the shit that you've been through, right? And then that obviously prepares you for hip hop, because hip hop,
yeah.
I mean, because you're hip hop, but you're kind of, you cover all grounds, right? So,
yeah.
So you're hip hop, but you have a goth look, you know, you kind of pop depending on what the record is. So how does that experience prepare you for where you are now?
So it's funny because I actually started super hip hop. I mean, like flat brim hats, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like in these streets, like not bullshitting. And I think that experience being in that and being submerged in that culture and learning that I wanted to really get out of that, and go above and beyond that, I took all my experiences from before and actually found myself, if that makes sense. Like before, I felt like I had to pick a lane. Okay. I felt like I had to be either this street person or this, you know what I'm saying? And it came from all the bullshit that had happened to me. Like at this time, to make it through this piece, I had to be that street person. At this time, I had to be that, you know what I'm saying? Sexy, whatever, you know? But when I found myself and actually got comfortable in myself and allowed all those pieces to come out, like my nails, yeah, that's sexy. That might be a little bit hoish, but it's me. Like my collar, that might be a little bit goth, but fuck it, it's me. You know, my head tattoo, that might be a little rocker, but fuck it, it's me. Like I just decided ain't nobody gonna put me in a box. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna wear what I wanna wear, I'm gonna dress how I wanna dress, I'm gonna talk how I wanna talk, I'm gonna walk how I wanna walk, and I'm gonna rap how the fuck I wanna rap.
Yeah, you know, that's inspiring to see because I feel like a lot of artists are essentially afraid to be themselves. And we're seeing more of it now where people are kind of just crossing the line. You got Tyler, the Creator. He's a dope lyricist. He might say some shit that make you uncomfortable if you're not in the vibe, but it's him, right? You know, Lil Uzi. Motherfucker put a diamond in his fucking forehead. It's like, you know, and this is kind of like what hip-hop is. But let's talk about these new records that are out now. You got this trilogy joint that's out, right? It's an EP.
Yep.
And you got some heavy hitters on this project. So talk about this project and working with Royce the 5'9", Benny the Butcher, and what you have on there.
So this trilogy is really special to me because it came right after a time where I lost my little sister, who was my social media manager and like my TikTok manager and my best friend. She was like my baby, my daughter, basically. I raised her like that. My little sister, my dad, my aunt, one of my best friends, my grandpa, and my baby daddy, all in 2.5 months. And after that, I really had a mental break from reality. Like I knew I couldn't handle it. And like I just went, and like became this militant, work 20 hours a day, you know, like the PTSD in me came out and I just literally worked 20 hours a day, going to school, all types of shit. Sometimes didn't sleep for like 3 days. And I'm sober, mind you. So like something was going on in there, right? So after that, I'd say about 8 months of that, my manager was like, hey man, you need to like come back and do some music. I'm like, what do you mean? It's been like 3 weeks. He's like, dude, it's been like 8 fucking months. Like, get your ass the fuck back here, you know? Yeah. And when I finally came back, I couldn't write. I was so angry. And then one day I just fucking lost my shit and broke everything in my studio. And literally. And after that, he's like, well, might as well sit down and write now that everything's broken. Fuck it, you know. And this is what came out. So, and the songs just came out naturally. The first one was, you know, and it came to the stages of grief. I wrote the songs first and then realized it was my process of dealing with the grief. So, like, the first stage is sadness. The second stage is anger. The third stage is redemption. So the sadness is drowning with Royce the 5'9". That chronicles like my very like severe depression that went along with losing, you know, all of those people, plus dealing with my brain damage and PTSD, all that shit at the same time. The second one is rage, which was my anger, period. Where I was really angry. I was like, you know, at everybody. That's Rage featuring Young Buck. And then my third one, Benny the Butcher, Bounce Back featuring Benny the Butcher. That's my redemption, you know. So it takes you through that kind of the feeling of that extreme loss and how I cycled through it in just a period of 13 minutes.
Yeah. One of the things that I like to do here in Inphamus Hour is talk directly to the consumer. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's a little different than radio. It's podcasting. We're talking directly to an audience of almost 2 million people, right? And what do you want the audience to know about you besides the backstory? What do you want them to know about you as an artist, as a person, and how they can properly receive your music?
So I don't try and be anything I'm not. I just try and be myself. So my music is a process of me finding myself and working through my issues. I don't tell people that I have issues for anyone to feel bad for me or like, you know what I'm saying, whatever. I tell people my issues so that if they have similar issues, they know that they can get through it and how I got through it. My music is really to inspire other people and motivate other people. It's a form of therapy for myself, but I want it to be a form of therapy for everybody else too. You know, and that's what's important to me is that when you put on my music, like, know that this is from the heart. This is like 100. Like, I don't switch lyrics because I think people are going to dislike it. I don't change things because I think people might dislike it. Like, if you don't like it, then it's just not for you. And you might not like another song of mine because I literally sit down in whatever frame of mind I'm in. I just let it come out. Like, I don't put myself in a box anymore. I used to, and I just don't anymore. So, the biggest thing I want you to take away from my music is that it's all real and raw, and this is for the people that have been through some shit. It's really not for the people that haven't, So if you really ain't been through shit, you probably might want to put it on because you might not like it.
Yeah. Well, without getting too personal, because I've heard you say this a few times today, like, talk about the brain damage. Maybe how it happened without getting too descriptive, and then how that affected you, because our brain is this is how we all
it's like a
operate
computer,
as humans. You don't really know too many people that have had some real shit happen like that. So can you kind of briefly take us through?
Yeah, for sure. So when I first came from Canada, I was young when I got my first set of brain damage. Actually, not my first set, but we'll go back to that later. So the first set that I knew of brain damage that I got, I had a severe injury to my face, and it was a collision. And so my face was split open here and here. And I couldn't even, like, when it happened, it was just it's weird. Like, I heard a weird sound in my head that I can't, like, explain to anybody because it's just like a pop. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't lift my head. I was like, oh my gosh, like... and I remember my mom being there, and she's like, whatever you do, don't fucking look in the mirror. She's like, dude, and my mom doesn't swear, so I knew it was bad. So I pushed her away, and I just saw my skin go like this, and I, like, grabbed my face like that, and I touched my facial bone, right? Like, I was like, oh, man, this is some bullshit. But went to the hospital, and they had to, like, fly in. My dad called in a favor because we were super poor, but thank God he did that, so... Good looking pops, called in and they had somebody put my face back together, basically. So that was the first time. And then the second time I was 20 years old, and my ex-girlfriend, she was wasted. We were both fucked up. I was on bail. We're out drinking. Why the fuck was I on bail and drinking? Because I was an idiot. And we're coming back from the bar, and we get to her house, and I'm trying to sit her down and calm her down, but she's going into this blackout rage. I'm like, what the fuck? So I walk into the kitchen to go get her a glass of water. I'm like, bro, just sit down. I hear her rustling around with something. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Sit the fuck down. All I hear is her step into because it was like dining room, kitchen. She steps into the dining room, and I look over, and I see something flying at me, and I cover my face like this, and this 18-pound ashtray hit me right here. One of those, like, old ass, crystal ashtrays. So I go like this, and my fingers slid into my head. Oof. So I was like, oh, fuck. I'm like, shit, I think I'm God. So I'm like looking around for the light switch. When I finally find the light switch, because the light was on in the living room, but it wasn't on in the dining room. I'm trying to find it, and, like, I flick the lights on. All I see is bloody handprints all over the wall. I was like, oh, this is bad. So I call my personal assistant, who is now my personal assistant. He was my best friend back in the day, but he's my personal assistant now. And I'm like, bro, you need to come get me. I think I'm dying. And he's like, what? So he, like, zooms over, and, like, I get out of there because I'm on bail, right? And for the next 3 days, like...
Let's not forget, she's on bail.
I'm on bail. I'm not going to the hospital. I'm like, fuck that. So I think I'm this big fucking gangster because you know how it is when you're younger. Yeah. You think you're invincible. And so my friend, like, literally had to hold this ice pack on my head and then off, on and then off, and wake me up every 30 minutes for the next 3 days. It was still bleeding. 3 days, I mean. 3 days later, it was still, like, kind of crusting and bleeding, and it was weird. And they're like, we have to go to the hospital. Finally, we go to the hospital, find out the cops are looking for me. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to jail. Well, no, they were looking for me because they thought that this bitch hit a body. Oh, like, that's how much blood there was. There was that much blood, like, and I didn't realize, like, how much blood I had really lost, until I went to the hospital. So they're like, hey, we can either, like, break it open.
It sound like a Netflix.
I swear to bro, I'm not even playing with you. Like, if they ever make a movie about my life, that bitch will sell. But they better make a TV series because there's too much shit. It's too much shit. But yeah, thank God. Thank God that that my friend was there, waking me up. So after that, like, I knew I was off after the first one, but the second one, that's when I realized shit was really not right. Like I just don't function like normal people. Like I can't do. It's not me being mean. Like, I just can't do the fluff. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Like, what are we doing? Like, I can only, like, I need to do this right now. What are we doing? I need to follow a directive. Like, I need a list. You know what I'm saying? I know how my brain works. Yeah. So I've got, like, lists all over my house. Yeah. Like, list next to my music computer, list next to my video computer, list for my school. Like, and when I think about it, I got to write it down right away. Like, I just know my brain works different, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that these things that I used to be so upset and depressed and angry about me having, like, are actually blessings. And it's weird to look at brain damage as a blessing, right? But think about it. I don't have that normal emotional need for like weird friendships, right? Like I really legitimately find my what's that called? Not satiation, fulfillment from executing strategy and goal. Like my brain just doesn't work the same as other people. And I never understood why I couldn't have friends. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to be nice to you, motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it people that do business with me love it. People that are trying to be like friends, maybe not so much. But I'm a loyal person. I'm very loyal. I'm hard to understand, but I'm very loyal. And if I say I got you, I got you. Like I don't do in between. I'm black or I'm white. I'm not gray. I'm no variations of gray. There's no 50 shades of gray. It's just if I fucking say it, I fucking mean it, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? My tolerance for nonsense is 0. But the way I will push for you, if you're my people, like I will push for you. Like I will fucking push a whole fucking door down. I'll push a brick wall down. I'll figure it the fuck out.
Rather die.
Like period. But it's
flesh.
But we not dying. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna make it fucking work. I'm gonna figure it out. Like you tell me, like when my manager was like, you know, it's gonna take like cool $250,000 to do what you want to do. I'm like, all right, well I already owe 500, so I'm gonna have to make $1 million, and that was the goal in my mind, and I did it. Paid off all my shit, made enough to invest in my music. Like and it was impossible. I was making nothing. Like I was working at fucking, you don't know the strip clubs out there, but bro, I was working at a shitty little strip club. They wouldn't even let me in at the good clubs. I was sort of chunky and weird looking. Like this is before he helped me do any of this shit to my body, right? But I just kept seeing that. I just kept seeing the end result, and I knew I was going to make it. You know, like I kept seeing the end result, and, you know, like people would laugh at me. He's like, they ain't going to be laughing forever. You know what I'm saying? Like he just had my back, and he pushed me, and he pushed me, and he pushed me, and he pushed me, and he kept me on track. And like now look at me, you know, like it's weird. It's almost like when I talk to you about this, like I'm telling you a story that I read, because I'm so far removed from that person now, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Well, blessings to you. I know you're doing a whole radio run here in New York. You did Shade 45. This is 50. You got video shoots going down. So we got the Royce the 5'9" record out now.
Drowning.
And then we have this Benny the Butcher record out now.
Bounce Back.
Videos.
Yes.
What are you going to find? YouTube, website?
Yep. If you go to my website, thesexypsycho.com, like just like it's not like duh sexy, like any weird spelling, it's thesexypsycho.com, because that's my brand, Sexy Psycho. You're gonna find all of my every link, like Instagram, YouTube, all of that. My IG is J.Irja. That's how you spell my name. That's another reason I use like the Sexy Psycho for my website, because ain't nobody gonna know how to spell J.Irja. They're gonna be like, huh? The fuck is that? But yeah, so go to my website, thesexypsycho.com. Link up with me on socials. I love to interact with people. I'm not one of those people that's like, I'm too good to follow you back or message you. Like I love hearing from people that love my music, because if you love my music, you love me. You know, like my followers on social media are are my friends, you know, because I don't really have like friends in real life. I have people I do business with and make money with, but my followers are like my friends and my family to me.
Oh, that's super exciting and impressive to hear. So for the people that's watching on Spotify right now, listening on Spotify, we'll play a record before I get into the next guest. What record do you want them to hear right now?
I think Bounce Back would be a good one.
Bounce Back. All right, so talk about this record. Introduce the record. It's on you.
So Bounce Back, featuring Benny the Butcher. This is about taking all of the pain and the bullshit, everybody telling you can't do it, whatever the case may be, and just proving everybody wrong. It's about hitting bottom and bouncing back, because it never, ever matters how far you fall. It matters how high you bounce back. So that's what this track is about. Bounce Back, featuring Benny the Butcher, and it's doing numbers. So check my website for the video, thesexypsycho.com, or just Google Bounce Back featuring Benny the Butcher. All that shit will pop up.
All right, make sure you check that out. This is the Inphamus Hour. You know what it is.
Period.
Shout out to Shy Boogie, who just came in. Apparently somebody fucked up. Shout out to Mike Gage, somebody high. So Shy, you just walked in. This guy just came from Niagara Falls, drove down here, 7 hours. What highway is that to come down? Is that
what did we take, the 90?
90 across and then down to 87? So you go into Albany and then...
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So culture. So we're looking at upstate New York, and I often have to express it to people who from out of town. They're like, all right, there's boom bap in New York. No, not in New York City. Upstate, Rochester.
Yes.
Buffalo. You got guys like, girls like Che New York. You got 38
Shay
Special was literally
Yeah.
shutting shit down. Then you have the whole Griselda wave. And how does that make you feel in 2023, where barring outside of battle rap community seems to be not popular. And when you look at it, coming as a lyricist, how does that make you feel? Like, okay, I have a shot to do this. There may be some gain in the next 10 years where maybe we could cross over and get some commercial records and things
Yeah,
like
I think real hip hop is coming back. And so that make me feel good. That motivate me to really put a bag behind myself and invest in myself. Because it was a few years where I was running around in Miami and Atlanta, and it was like I found myself sometimes like trying to cater to their sound, and it was like, man, that's not like that's not who I am. So it's like when Benny and them break through, you know what I mean? I got a record with Benny, I got a record with Shay Noor. These are people that I done rubbed shoulders with many times. So to be that close to somebody and watch them break through, you know, Benny was in my studio maybe like a week before he signed his Rock Nation deal doing a feature with me. So it was like to see him in my studio, then to see him where he at now. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, man, that ain't nothing but motivation. And them boys kicking down the door for niggas like us to come through with merch. They inspiring niggas to go outside of the music too. Because, you know, Westside brand itself amazingly when it come to fashion and shit. So I just think them lanes is open now for niggas like us to come in. And for me, like you said, you never met nobody from Niagara Falls. So I'm the first nigga you met. You feel what I'm saying? Really. Right, and I want to start making that mark more for my city outside of like Buffalo, because it's like Benny and them broke through first, but like you said, 38 right now. I know he on a little tour right now, and he eating. Yeah. So it's the light is going. You know what I mean? And I feel like they've gave me opportunity. So that's all that somebody can do. I seen an interview with Fab where he like, yo, the best thing somebody can give you is opportunity. And Conway and them let me go on tour with them for reasonable numbers. Benny let me go on tour with them for reasonable numbers. So. Yeah, man, I think they just got me more motivated than ever. Yeah, shout out to Jake over there busting plays. Yeah. Watching right now, this is the Inphamus Hour. I'm the host of Inphamus Amadeuz. Dirty O's here. He has a new project out now. So touring life is much different than what it was before, right? And it seems there is this core fan base of hip-hop people that have came out of fucking nowhere. Because pre-pandemic, pre-pandemic, I was in a situation as a DJ where it was like, all right, I got to tap into Lil Baby. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's music, right? Lil Baby and this and that. And pandemic came home. And all of a sudden, Versus hits, right? And boom, now it's about fucking bars. Now everybody's back outside. Guys like, whoever the fuck is the newest popping guy, it was going crazy over 100,000 views. Versus is doing 5 million, right? It's different. It's all about reaching impressions, right? So when you see that and you look at where you are, how do you think that your music and your brand fits into the up-and-coming generation of lyricists? I think I fit perfectly, man. I think I'm probably I'm like what the game is missing, kind of, just because I think we all get like boxed in, you know, or we got to have a certain look to talk about certain things, and I don't think it's like that. I think it's like based on what we come from, and I got a whole city to speak for where people do think like, oh, that's just glitz and glamour, like they live this touristy city life, and it's like that's not what it is. So I think like what I'm about to bring to the game is going to be something different because of where we from. So we do got the boom bap, but we don't got the same like energy as them niggas from Buffalo, because they is from a big city. Buffalo is like the third biggest city in New York. So what's the energy there in your area? Oh, it's discouraging. It's like, you know what I mean? Niggas want to rap for the man on the corner or make a CD for their friends, so nobody believe in themselves to step out and come here. You know what I mean? That's why niggas in Niagara Falls ain't known. Nobody want to put the belief behind themselves. So it's like, that's what I am. I want to be the Nipsey, and I got a song on my CD called Niagara Falls Nipsey, and it's just like, I want to be the Nipsey for my city. I want niggas to look like, damn, like, even if I don't break through, inspire the man that's going to break through. You know what I'm saying? Because we all got a shot, and nowadays with social media and all the outlets to invest in yourself, like if you really want it, you could put the work in and go get it. Yeah. We have a large audience here, and there's a large audience of independent artists who come from small towns. I mean, even though Niagara Falls wouldn't be considered a small town, it is a small town, right? What advice would you have for them as how they can ultimately pursue their career? I would say like definitely start with like thinking about investing in yourself, but like don't invest in like wild stuff that don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? I found myself buying features, and it was like the artist wasn't even showing love for me on the song. So it's like, that's not a feature that made sense. So if you're getting features, make sure the artist is going to co-sign that song. Make sure he's going to share it for you here and there. Other than that, man, pour that bag into yourself and focus on building like real relationships with people, because the relationships is going to get you further than money in this game. You know what I mean? It's about resources and using them and standing on your word. I think standing on your word is big. A lot of people say one thing and then not be that person. Yeah. So it's like you're going to ruin a relationship or that connect or that opportunity that's waiting for you. And I was taught about Chinese luck, which is like being prepared for your opportunity.
You mentioned features, and sometimes I find that certain artists, not all artists, can be too reliant on features.
Yes.
And coming from an independent perspective, as someone who has features, do you think the new current artists are more worried about collaborative work and more worried about collaborative production as opposed to just kind of building their own brand and finding newer talent and building up that way?
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I think we, even me, since I was me at one point. You know, I thought that was gonna be like my easy way in the door or something. You know what I mean? Like, let me get this feature, or if I got a feature with this dude, then I'm gonna get this type of crowd. But it's like, if that record, first of all, is not catered to properly by you as far as marketing and getting that song out there, then you just really wasting your bread just to say you rapped with this nigga or something. You know what I mean? So I think that it's more important to pour the money into yourself. Any independent artists out there, worry about your brand, worry about building up your craft, your sound, and getting that perfected. And then if they really rock with you, those features start coming in different manners. You know what I'm saying? I got unreleased music with Beanie Siegel, and that feature came with not a dollar put down.
It's dope.
That was through relationships, you know, ended up in the studio with them, like, oh yeah, let's cook something up together. Like, and I like that more, that felt more natural. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, this year's Hip Hop 50, and of course the fucking year starts off with a top 50 list.
Yes.
Right? You know, made by corporate guys, and it kind of doesn't feel like it's a street, you know, list or like an actual list. So when you look at that type of thing, and then you see guys like Ja Rule, for example. We had a whole conversation today about this on Shade 45 where, you know, Ja Rule kind of lashed out. And then there's different perspectives. People are like, nah, he's not top fucking 50. Maybe he is top 50. Like, what defines a top 50 artist in 2023? MC, like, in your opinion, what does that scale look like? Who qualifies to go there?
Yeah, I can see how Ja Rule would be mad because of his impact, but I think he got to humble himself when it comes to longevity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't survive through these 2000s and 2010s and 15s and 20s. You know, like, your music is still, you got hits, but it's like somebody like Jadakiss has reinvented itself many times, just as a lyricist, like, just as. So it's like, what are we qualifying them on? Is it on hits, or is it about what you can write down and deliver to us? Because they got people on the list who, you know, got iffy or ghostwriters sometimes. So, I mean, I think, of course, Jay, I love Jay to be at number one, and I'm always going to go Pac too. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my personal. But yeah, I think those lists is funny. Even when I met Benzino, he told me some stories about the Source back then, and he like took away everything I thought 5 mics meant to me.
That shit don't mean nothing.
Right.
Niggas is buying that shit back
yeah, or you got like you said, it's a bunch of like college kids fucking sitting around.
Bunch
just
of motherfuckers down here in Alphabet City that fucking sit down and say, oh yeah, who's top 5? Well, fuck this nigga because he did some bullshit.
Right.
He's not making the list. I mean,
right.
You know, I caught so much backlash when I said Jay-Z was not top 5. I mean, that video got like 70,000.
Damn.
Right now, my phone is going off. I posted this 5 weeks ago.
Right.
And it's still going off. It's
and you
like,
feel that way for real.
Oh, no, I 100% feel that way. Pac is, again, and I've said this many times,
Oh,
so
man,
I don't want to, you know, but quickly, because we never had a conversation. Pac is the number one MC of all time. It's not a fucking question. It's not a debate, period.
Right.
We're talking about MC, master of ceremony.
Yes.
What is a master of ceremony? A nigga that does everything, not only rapping. You got to do everything. You got to fuck the most bitches. You got to control the crowd. This is a nigga from the Bronx that made you think that he was from LA.
Yes.
And you knew the nigga was from the Bronx.
Yes.
You knew he was in Baltimore, but you thought he was from LA.
Right. He got a Live and Die in LA song. That's just
they took his whole persona and painted this whole fake imagery that there was an East Coast, West Coast battle going on.
Right.
When there wasn't. It wasn't happening. So for me, Pac is number one. Lyricist is gonna be Nas. It's different because he's a lyricist. If we're talking about MCs, Nas would be number 2 because I think long term, no one right now is dropping an entire project and making a hit like Nas. Hove, and I'm not saying he's a bad rapper. I just think with Hove, it's more about the persona. I'm a billionaire. I got Beyonce. I got this. I got that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. But, you know, that's what these lists are, right? It's a person like, who's your top 5? You got a top 5?
Nas one is he's Nas.
All right, so Nas, who else you got?
I definitely got Pac in my top.
Okay, Pac.
Yeah, I definitely got Pac in my top 5. But see, I'm like more like a hip hop head. J Dilla is like my.
Okay, so JD. I mean, you know, he reinvented the way that we kind of think about production and all right. So you got JD, so we got Pac, Nas, JD, Big and Kanye. Shout, who you got? You got the top 5 or you too high? You don't got it or?
I'm high right now.
Fuck you, Mike. All right. Fuck this nigga because he didn't even fuck it. If you watch it right now, Facebook.com or Instagram, tag @Gage110 because he didn't hit fucking record when we walked in here. All right. Dirty O, you got top 5 or?
Yeah, I go Jay. Give me Pac. Give me Big. Give me J. Cole. Give me Kanye.
J. Cole top 5?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Cole.
J. Cole top 5. I think with Big,
he's short-lived.
well, we never had a whack record from Big. So he gave us basic 3 albums. We got the
double CD,
which would be 2, and
Ready to Die.
Ready to Die, and there was never a whack record.
Right.
So we're with like Pun, and I spoke about this too
Ooh,
with Pun.
I just said Pun didn't get mentioned enough. I just talked about
well,
this.
it's because the second album would be considered a dub. The Yeah Baby album was not a great album.
Right.
Not like Capital Punishment. Capital Punishment was like,
Yeah.
but he didn't have 8 Leatherfaces on that project. With Big, everything was fucking unbelievable. It was kind of moving like that. So have we reached the point with hip hop? Because this is year 50 of hip hop, right? And hopefully we'll get to see year 100, right?
Yes.
But, hopefully God willing, health.
Yes, and we need our turn back. Real artists need their turn back.
Yeah. So what do you think, in your opinion, is the number one key thing that needs to happen to preserve the culture of hip hop? Like the 5 elements of hip hop. What do you think is missing, and what do you think has to happen so we can preserve it?
I think we need more people to be authentic. I just think now, I mean, we have a podcast that we run called No Gimmicks, and I think that's what the game is. I just think everybody is looking for this image or this persona that they can put on to go viral or something like that. And I don't think that's what hip hop is. I think hip hop is like a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I grew up listening to Pac and Jay and them because they related to what I was going through in real life. You feel what I'm saying? I don't think we have enough artists that's relating to these kids. We have more artists influencing these kids to where it's like, now kids is on Percocets and drinking lean because this new era is like speaking on drug use way, way more than we ever would have. You know what I'm saying? So I think going it back and getting some, all that I got is you records from Ghostface, like, that pain.
More personality and being more relatable about your personal story.
Yes.
Instead of just doing everything for the look of the likes. Or
Right,
view.
right. Like these damn Astro boots and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Them fucking boots. I'm going to buy you them fucking boots.
he want them? He want them?
He might as well get them. Fucking not even record. Jesus Christ, Mike.
But something like that, it just lets me know, like, where is the originality? Like, like if something is trendy, I just think everybody's just ready to jump on the wagon, whether they look foolish or not. 3-4 weeks from now, it just and I'd rather not do that. And I took the long road. I've been rapping for a minute, but it's like I'd rather take the long road and have my story be authentic all the way through. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So you got a new project. You got an intro by Jewels.
Yes.
Right. And I'm gonna do a video about this because we need Jewels to come back outside. Like we need all these artists. Like stop cuffing the records. Shout out to my man Curious. If you don't know Curious, Curious is like one of the first Latin rappers that popped off, and he has a whole album with MF Doom.
right.
Where the fuck is the album? It's Hip Hop 50. We may not make it to Hip Hop 100.
Right.
They shooting Chinese balloons out the fucking sky in real time. I've been waiting for Detox since 2001. Clinton was still president.
Right.
We've had 4 presidents, a global pandemic. They raided the fucking Capitol. We still don't got Detox.
Yes.
Where the fuck are these records? Method Man, and a lot of these guys follow me too. Shout out to Method Man. He has a whole project with Havoc. Where the fuck is the project? Like, what are
Right.
these guys waiting for exactly? Drop the fucking music.
I can agree.
It's Hip Hop 50.
I hoard music too, so I agree.
Why?
I don't know. I got some joint with Rick Hyde. I got a joint with Rick Hyde. I got some joints with Shotgun Suge. I got some joints with SKE, the Heist Man from out here in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they coming though. I'm putting them all out.
What are you hoarding for?
I don't know.
What are you waiting for? Aliens?
Yeah,
to fucking
I'm
invade
changing that
Niagara
shit.
Falls and shit. I mean, like, what are you waiting for?
This the year. It's changing. Everything is getting ready to drop, man. I got to come heavy, so I'm gonna stay on them all year, man.
Yeah. So one of the things that I have to admire about you, because I didn't know this, that you actually came from Niagara Falls, right?
Yes.
And that is just, it's admirable to come down here to bet on yourself. Come sit on the Inphamus Hour.
Yes.
fucking with Shade 45 DJ, you know the whole thing. But what do you want people to know about you, right? Just on like talk to the viewer. What do you want them to know about you as a person, and how that connects to your music and what makes it relatable to them?
Yeah, I'm just a stand-up nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? I come from the mud, and I don't glorify it like that. Like, you know, I'm humble. I know how to get my blessings and move forward. Like, you know, but I'm all about giving back. Like, so it's whatever. Like, if I gotta connect on how to help you get your merch popping, I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? If I gotta connect, I don't care if you nicer than me or you not nicer than me. If you need to get connected with Hip Hop Weekly and I got ends on that, then I'm gonna plug you in and I'm gonna make sure it's love. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the type of nigga I am. And it's like, I like to stand up for the people I love. So I got kids is part of the reason why I haven't moved and really chased the dream as much as I could, because, you know, I created life, and I got to make sure that them kids is like go through life getting raised by me and not just having a dollar that I could spend on them. So I like stand on shit like that. But my passion with this is really just writing. I'm not the nigga that's looking to be Drake famous. I'm looking to have my peers. I'm looking for, you know, Jada Kiss or Fab wanting them to hear me one day and be like, yo, that nigga nice. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I just want that, and I want everything that come off of music, you know, because music is just a lane that I could branch off of, and maybe it's the merch that get popping, you know what I mean? Or maybe I could write a movie script somewhere that get popping, because I'm passionate about writing. And it's like, I just got into the music side of it. I was battle rapping first because I just love the acapella, being able to deliver how I want to. So it's like, now I'm finding myself trying to be a complete artist. But I think it's always room to grow. So, and I base myself off of that. Like, tomorrow is a new day for me to be a better Dirty.
Talk about your situation with Hip Hop Weekly, because you mentioned that. So you're involved with Hip Hop Weekly, and where's the Hip Hop Weekly brand? Because, you know, the insiders, we kind of know there was a whole switch of regime, and they're kind of figuring that out. Shout out to Stretch, who was
my guy,
you know, that's my bro. And so there's something happening with Hip Hop Weekly, and as someone who's involved, like, where we are now, what can the fans expect?
Well, yeah, now you can expect more of like the issues to start hitting stores again. You know what I'm saying?
So we are getting physicals.
Yeah, we got shout out to Bootleg Kev. Bootleg Kev just got involved with the brand. He on the cover of the newest issue. So it's like we're gonna get back into the physical copies, and then from there it's just about still rebranding, you know, because we still run into certain people where the brand is not trusted from past owners. So it's like I got in knowing this, so I didn't even get in with the idea like, oh, I want to get rich off of Hip Hop Weekly or nothing. I got in like, yo, I used to pay to be in this magazine, and now I can have that just on my resume, and I can use that platform when I really need it, you know. So, and of course, you know, looking out for other artists. So it's definitely in a big rebranding stage, but we've been definitely jumping a lot of hurdles over these last few years. And shout out to Stretch, because Stretch is really putting a lot of that grind in, like on his own back. So big shout out to Stretch, shout out to C, and shout out to Bootleg Kev too.
When you look at independent artists in general, what do you think is the missing element for just indie artists, right? Because a lot of guys have some of the pieces. Some guys got the video, some guys got the beats.
Right.
Obviously, there's no more artist development, so you have to develop yourself. And then we have social media.
Right.
So what is the missing element to kind of make this all go?
I would say street team. I would say you got to get a team. You know, I still haven't even perfected that side yet, but it's like you got to have other people out there speaking highly of you and speaking highly of your craft and what you do when you're not there, or in places that you can't be at. You can't be everywhere at once. So I think having a street team spread out throughout places that you travel, and I've also seen like, yo, start taking care of your street team. Put some money in their pocket to motivate them to do what you need. But I think that's big. I think having a strong team behind you can get you places that you can't go like solo.
Yeah, I think a lot of artists are afraid to step out of their element. Like, I do so many things. It's not only hosting. I've shot videos.
Right.
Matter of fact, we shooting Cormega's video.
Oh, that's what's up.
This weekend, I've directed videos, Fetty Wap. I mean, just down the line. Then I've learned radio. I've learned magazines. I've learned all that. And is there a certain thing where it's like, maybe I don't understand what's on the other side of fear, right? Because we're just looking at fear. We kind of don't understand that may be a reward on the other side. So could that be one of the reasons why? And then also coming from low poverty urban environments, we're taught to be sheltered in a box in our own area.
Yeah, I think it's big to break out of there and test yourself. I did a little county bid, and that shit woke me up as a man, because it's like, you know, it's like I got to sit back and like really like look at myself, review myself. But my big moment was like my mother passed 2010.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and that's when I got that look in the mirror like, nigga, what did you about to do with your motherfucking self? Like, you know what I'm saying? You just gonna be another nigga here that say you a rapper and you want to do this and not, nah, I got my ass up. You feel what I'm saying? I got out there, I started networking. And like you said, man, like, people don't, like, you got to measure your success different than other people. I've seen things from music that I would have never, ever seen if I did not chase this dream. You know what I'm saying? I've been inside Ross House. I've been backstage at Rolling Louds. I've done things where it's like a lot of people be like, damn, like, I talk to a lot of people and they say, yo, you just really missing like one thing for you to go ahead and cross over. Because when niggas talk to me, they're like, damn, nigga, you did 11 dates with Conway and you drove yourself? I mean, from Atlanta to D.C. to Philly.
I mean, that's a part of it, though. Motherfuckers don't understand that. Like, you got to kind of move your own shit.
Yeah, and that's part of the fear that people scared to go that other side. You know what I'm saying? But you will go to that local bar and keep spending that $150 every week instead of stacking that shit up and saying,
or the strip club, or OnlyFans.
Come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, put that bread to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Look, take a chance, gaining experience, however it go. Yeah. I've had great nights and bad nights on that tour. I had nights where I was performing, motherfuckers looking at me like, nigga, we don't want to hear you. Then I had nights where I was performing and I felt like I was the motherfucking main act. So, yeah, get out there, chase your dream. If it's really your dream, work hard and go out there and chase that shit.
All right, so before we get out of there, they're about to kick us the fuck out.
Yes.
All right, so what's next for Dirty O? We got Culture Weekend NYC. You're gonna be there performing.
Yes. Yep, Culture Weekend, and then I just got plugged in with the Drummer Boy tour that's about to happen.
Okay, shout out Devin.
Yep,
family. Right
exactly
there.
right. So he just plugged me in with that. So now it's just about getting back out there, stacking up all my promotional tools, man, and just getting that Dirty O name out further and more reach, and really pushing his brand or this clothing brand on niggas as well.
Okay, and then obviously we have the clothing line. Talk one more time about the clothing line where they can cop the merch at.
Yeah, No Stranger to Struggle, man. The site will be up in like a week, so it's gonna be nostrangertostruggle.com, and we're gonna have all types of merch, sweaters, t-shirts. You know, we really focus on a lot of limited shit. So it's like we'd do like a 24 hoodie drop, like I just did. I got the red hoodie on. We did a black multicolor one. But it's like right now, the town and the cities, they supporting us so much, them shits don't stick around.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Yeah. So we building up the brand to the point where we can have enough inventory for everybody to just shop and show love. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm the infamous Amadeuz. Shout out to my guest, Agallah. Got a new album dropping this Friday. Dirty O was in the building. Man, it's an amazing episode. Shout out to Boom Bap Nation. Make sure you follow at Boom Bap Nation on all platforms. And of course, follow myself, the infamous Amadeuz, Sirius XM, Shade 45. You know the time and the place to find me at. And guys, stop DMing me about my playlist. I post a playlist every single Thursday at noon, and then I tell them the playlist is there, and they're still hitting me. What's the Dirty O record? It's on my fucking Instagram. Just go check it out, all right?
Yes,
So
sir.
next time, stay safe, stay productive, stay COVID-19 free. See you then.